助詞 N5 Particles Part 2. Today we will be going through Japanese particles. This is part 2 of the N5 JLPT particles. As noted in part 1, particles are Japanese grammar that immediately follow nouns, verbs, adjectives, or sentences and build out a sentence for context, emotion, and even assertiveness. These particles have been grouped to help you learn them. Let's hop to it. な、だけ、たり、たり、か、か、お、ご、ので、のです、んです、けど、けれども、が、な、な is used at the end of a sentence and the meaning will vary depending on the context and how you say it. Na can be used to ask for confirmation like right? Na can be used to show your admiration like wow. It can also be used if you're not certain about something. This is similar to how you would use ne, which we learned in part 1. The structure is a sentence followed by na. Let's go through an example. 今夜は星がきれいだな。今夜は星がきれいだな。The stars are beautiful tonight. In this case, we are admiring the beauty of the stars. For another example, いいな、いいな。How nice. Using na has a feeling of being envious of someone or something. Next, we will go through a particle used for limiting a verb, noun, or adjectives. だけ. だけ means only, or just, or as much as something. The structure for verbs is to use the verb's dictionary or casual form, followed by だけ. A noun is followed by だけ. For na adjectives, add na before だけ. And finally for I adjectives, they are directly followed by だけ. For a verb example, 人参を1本食べるだけです。人参を1本食べるだけです。I'm only eating one carrot. In this case, we use the verb 食べます, which is changed into dictionary form 食べる, followed by だけ. This becomes 食べるだけ, meaning only eating. The next example is a very common phrase that you will hear. できるだけ早く来てください。できるだけ早く来てください。Come as soon as you can. The verb できます meaning can do or be able to becomes できる followed by だけ. So this is できるだけ and literally means as much as you can. For a noun example, いちごだけ食べる。いちごだけ食べる。I'll only eat strawberries. The noun いちご meaning strawberry becomes いちごだけ for only strawberries. For a na adjective, 好きなだけ食べてね。好きなだけ食べてね。Eat as much as you like. 好き meaning like is followed by na and so it becomes 好きなだけ. This means as much as you like. And finally for I adjectives, 梅干しは酸っぱいだけで美味しくない。梅干しは酸っぱいだけで美味しくない。梅干し are just sour and are not tasty. We used 酸っぱい meaning sour, and this is followed by だけ to meaning that something is just sour. The next group of particles are noun or verb connectors. These particles help bring sentences together. 足り is used to connect several verbs or explaining nouns and adjectives in a non-exhaustive list. For example, doing things such as X or Y, or to describe or listing an object or a person. This grammar is not limited to only 2 examples. You can keep extending if you have more to say. The way to use 足り is a little bit complicated as you need to adjust verbs and adjectives in order for them to be used. For verbs, the verb needs to be changed to た or past form with り followed by the second sentence with another verb in た form with り and finally する or more formally します at the end. For a noun, you add だったり following the noun with the next sentence and a noun followed by だったりする. な adjectives are similar to nouns. The な adjectives are followed by だったり and the following sentence with the な adjectives are followed by だったりする. Finally, for adjectives, you will need to remove the at the end of the adjective and you add かったり and then the following sentence an adjective similarly removing the and adding かったりする. What's that confusing? Let's go through some examples to see it in practice. 歩きながら食べたり飲んだりする. 歩きながら食べたり飲んだりする. While walking, I do things such as eating and drinking. As noted before, the verb needs to be changed to た or past form with り followed by the second sentence with another verb in た form with り and finally する or more formally します at the end. So for these 2 verbs, 食べる becomes 食べた and り and 飲む becomes 飲んだ and り followed by する. So it is 食べたり飲んだりする or します. Next, let's try a noun. おやつはケーキだったりクッキーだったりします。おやつはケーキだったりクッキーだったりします。For snacks, I eat things like cake and cookies. So you add だったり following the noun with the next sentence and a noun followed by だったりする. With the next example, I will include both な and adjectives. 暇だったり忙しかったりする. 暇だったり忙しかったりする. I can be sometimes free and sometimes busy. In this case, 暇 is a な adjective, so it's followed by だったり. 暇だったり. 忙しい is an adjective, and so you take away the at the end and add かったり. So this becomes 忙しかったり. And finally, add する or します at the end. Finally, another adjective example. このお店は日によって美味しかったり美味しくなかったりします。このお店は日によって美味しかったり美味しくなかったりします。Depending on the day, that restaurant can be tasty and sometimes not. 美味しい is an adjective, and so you take away the and add かったり so 美味しかったり Similarly, 美味しくない which is the opposite of 美味しい loses the I and becomes 美味しくなかったり followed by するをします so 美味しかったり美味しくなかったりします The next noun or verb connector particle is か か This means or and is used to connect verbs, nouns or adjectives. For all verbs, nouns and adjectives, simply add in a か between the options. Something か something かパーティーに行くか行かないかわからないパーティーに行くか行かないかわからない I don't know if I'm going or not going to the party. Here we have separated the verbs 行く with か and 行かない followed by か試合は明日か明後日です。試合は明日か明後日です。The competition is tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Similar to verbs, this example separated 明日 meaning tomorrow with か followed by 明後日 meaning the day after tomorrow. その話が本当か嘘かわからない。その話が本当か嘘かわからない。I don't know if that story is true or false. Again, this is the adjective 本当 with か followed by 嘘 and か。Finally, for an I adjective, the same rules apply. 近いか遠いか教えてください。近いか遠いか教えてください。Please tell me if it's near or far. We now move to an honorific particle that can be used to add to the start of a word to be more polite or add respect to a word. This can be used to talk about someone else's objects or family, or it can just add politeness for everyday items. O is generally used for native Japanese words, and go is used before Chinese origin words. However, there are always exceptions to these rules. Let's go through some common examples. お財布を落としましたよ。お財布を落としましたよ。You dropped your wallet. In this case, the noun is 財布 meaning wallet. You add お at the start to say お財布。お財布 is an example where it is an everyday item. ご機嫌いかがですか？ご機嫌いかがですか？ How are you? In this sentence, the word is 機嫌 and we add ご at the start to make ご機嫌. In this case, you're asking how the person is feeling, and by adding ご at the start, it is more polite. お箸上手ですね。お箸上手ですね。You're good at chopsticks. The word used in this example is 箸 meaning chopsticks, and you add お at the start to say お箸. This is another common everyday item that has お to add a sense of respect or politeness. ご家族はお元気ですか？ご家族はお元気ですか？ How's your family? Finally, the word used here is 家族 meaning family. As this is referring to someone else's family, you add ご to become ご家族, which adds respect and politeness to the person you're speaking to. The next set of particles are to be used when you're trying to explain something or give a reason. The first is node. Node means because of or given that something such as a verb, noun or adjective. To use this particle with a verb, simply add node at the end. With a noun and a na adjective, you add a na and then node. And finally, for an I adjective, you just add node at the end. Now an example for a verb. 昨日たくさん歩いたので足が痛いです。昨日たくさん歩いたので足が痛いです。Because I walked a lot yesterday, my legs are sore. In this case, we added node just after the verb 歩いた, meaning walked. Node can be used with verbs that are past tense, present tense, or even in polite form. Moving on to a noun. 信号が赤なので止まってください。信号が赤なので止まってください。Given that the light is red, please stop. In this case, we used 赤, which means red, and added な followed by ので、赤なので because it's red. Next is a な adjective. 大変なので手伝ってください。大変なので手伝ってください。Because this is hard, please help. Similar to nouns, simply add a な after the noun, followed by ので。In this case, our adjective is 大変, meaning hard, so it becomes 大変なので because it's hard. And finally, an I adjective. 今日は暑いので中で遊びましょう。今日は暑いので中で遊びましょう。Because it is hot today, let's play inside. With an I adjectives, you add ので. So in this example, we used 暑い, which means hot, then ので, 暑いので, because it's hot. The next particle is のです, or less polite のだ, and is used at the end of the sentence to explain something with a bit of emphasis and can also make it a bit more personal. The structure and use is very similar to ので, which we just went through with nouns and な adjectives having a な at the end, followed by のです or のだ. The main difference for verbs is that you use the casual or plain form of the verb, followed by のです. To give an example for a verb, 朝は人参を食べるのです。朝は人参を食べるのです。I eat carrots in the morning. In this case, we use the verb 食べます, which is eat. You will need to convert this into its dictionary or casual form 食べる, followed by のです. So this becomes 食べるのです. Using のです gives a bit more emphasis on what you are explaining. Moving on to a noun. その人は私の友達なのだ。その人は私の友達なのだ。That person is my friend. Nouns are followed by な, and so in this case, using 友達, which means friends, becomes 友達なのです or 友達なのだ. Now for a な adjective example. 人参が大好きなのです。人参が大好きなのです。I love carrots. Na adjectives are the same as nouns, and so you just add a na followed by no desu. In this case, we used 大好き meaning love, and so it is 大好きなのです。Finally, for an I adjective. うさこが一番走るのが速いのです。うさこが一番走るのが速いのです。Usako is the one who can run the fastest. The I adjective used in this example is 速い meaning fast, and you just add のです. So this becomes 速いのです。んです is the last explanation particle. This is very similar to のです, which we just went through, and has the same meaning for adding emphasis or explaining something. The structure is the same as のです, with verbs in dictionary or casual form, and nouns and na adjectives with the adding na followed by んです。今日は映画に行くんです。今日は映画に行くんです。I'm going to see a movie today. As a verb, you need it to be in dictionary or casual form. We use 行きます meaning to go, and this becomes 行くんです。この写真は私なんです。この写真は私なんです。This is a photo of me. As mentioned before, for a noun, simply add a な followed by んです。もう大丈夫なんですか？もう大丈夫なんですか？ Are you all right now? Similar to nouns, な adjectives are followed by な and んです。In this example, we used 大丈夫 meaning okay or all right, which becomes 大丈夫なんですか？頭が痛いんです。頭が痛いんです。I have a headache. I adjectives are followed by んです。For this example, 痛い, which means hurt or pain, becomes 痛いんです。Now we move on to our final set of particles. These are very similar and are used to mean however, but, or although as a conjunction particle. けど is simply used between two sentences or clauses. It is the most casual of the three conjunction particles that we will go through today. 食べたいけどお腹がいっぱいです。食べたいけどお腹がいっぱいです。I want to eat it, but I'm full. Next is けれど or けれども, which has the same meaning as けど. It is not used as much for conversational Japanese. However, it's useful to understand in case you hear this in a more formal situation. 旅行に行きたいけれど時間がないんです。旅行に行きたいけれど時間がないんです。I want to go traveling, but I don't have the time. が is the final particle today. This again has the same meaning as けど and けれど, but is a bit more formal. In general, you would not use が in a casual conversation, but may be used in a more formal conversation, or if it's written. 昨日は寒かったが、今日は暖かい。 昨日は寒かったが、今日は暖かい。It was cold yesterday, but today is warm. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and check out my other videos. See you next time.